Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me before I come on camera. Hello, everybody. Let me just double check that you all can hear me and see me, and I'm going to pop on my headphones to make sure everything's working correctly before we start the episode, because I am teaching a topic tonight. It's not just another how you doing in the pandemic episode. So let me put in my headphones here and just experiment a little bit. Hold on. Yeah, I can hear myself. Yay. Unfortunately, I don't know if I've really rectified the problem of seeing all of the comments. And I'm just not sure why that continues to happen, because I know that Jessica just posted in Facebook, on the Facebook page where we're broadcasting, but it's not coming up in my Be Live app, which is a little bit frustrating for me. And I'm wondering if that's just a side product of the simulcast feature that is new. I don't know, but I am monitoring both the YouTube stream and also the Facebook. So we still have the prettiness here of my website and my logo. And also I'm going to be projecting the stars of today's episode, the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. So I am still utilizing the Be Live stuff to be able to bring you a polished presentation about these two sets of cards that people have been asking about and wondering what's the differences between them. Are there differences? Of course. There are definitely differences. Otherwise, they would probably look exactly the same. And they don't look exactly the same when you look at the different stories and imagery that's depicted on the Rider-Waite-Smith versions of the tarot cards that we're talking about today, which are the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. So first things first, let's not get ahead of ourselves now that we've had our little tech check to make sure that you guys can hear me and see me, and I can see your comments. And I'm just going to double check. Yep, I can see Jessica's comment here on Facebook when I can't see it myself through the Be Live app. So we're just going to have to roll with it, folks. But I'm definitely seeing, I've got a workaround for it. So I gotcha. So first of all, introductions. If this is your first time viewing this particular video, I am Hilary, a professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition, through the magic and the power of the tarot. You can find me to book a reading right here at this website below, tarotbyhilary.com, and that is Hilary with one L. I am available to do Skype readings, phone readings, and email readings as well at this time of COVID-19 and the pandemic. I am not accepting in-person readings right now. Let me just tilt a little bit so that you don't see my messy bedroom in the background. Okay. So due to popular request, at least 3 people have asked me about the 5s and the 7s of the tarot in the past week, in between last week's episode and this week's episode. And actually, one of the requests came during last week's episode. So I was just like, yeah, we can totally talk about the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. Not a problem. And that's what my point and purpose is of these weekly Facebook Lives and now YouTube Lives, is to bring you a different tarot, metaphysical, or divination topic for your educational purposes. Just to let you guys know at the top of the episode, this is not the space for free readings. I don't do freebies. I do freebies in the form of a card of the day post that I post every single day on my social media. Today was the Two of Swords from the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, which I posted to all of my social media, and I also pulled that live on Instagram this morning as well. Actually, more like noonish. Anyway, but if you are looking for a free reading, I do a weekend forecast for the collective at the end of the episode. So stay tuned to the end of the episode for your weekend forecast. That is the only form of free reading that I do right here every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. So now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, what I usually do at the top of the episode, if I'm not teaching a topic, is to dive into the astro-weather from my friend Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady, who is both a tarot reader, a professional tarot reader, and also a wonderful astrologer. So don't be fooled by her moniker of the Tarot Lady. She is also a wonderful astrologer as well. So most of my astrology information I get from her because I am not an astrologer. As I say often, I know just enough astrology to be dangerous. So, like, I know that I'm a triple Aries. All right, let me quickly monitor the comments over here. So we have Katie here. Hello, Katie. We have Jessica. We have Zuri. Zuri says, hello, Hilary. Always love your Friday goodness. I wish I could put that up in the little bar over here. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Let me see here. Because I'm just going to try testing something here. So I'm just going to drop testing in here. When it doesn't appear for me. Ugh. I don't want to have to be like in 50 different places all at once, but oh, no. Well, if anyone on the feed is feeling particularly brave, I also do have a link here if you want to come onto the broadcast. I haven't tried that out yet. Maybe I'll try that out for maybe an interview episode. I don't know. Still trying to figure out all the technology that goes along with this, but this should be able to see all the comments and be live. I don't know why I can't do that. But anyway, Zuri left a very nice comment in the Facebook stream, which is always love your Friday goodness. Yeah, I know, Katie, I can see your comment here too, but I'm in the damn Facebook tab. I'm not through Be Live, so I don't know the reason why I can't see your comments through the third-party app. It's very annoying. I'm gonna have to put in a little, I guess, service call to them to ask them why that is. Maybe my settings are just messed up. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, and I can see my comments here over on YouTube because I'm monitoring YouTube as well. So let me see if I can. It's too bright, but see here where I say testing, it's coming up on YouTube too. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. Whatever. I'll roll with it as I usually do, and as all of you usually do. Anyway, so what I usually do is I usually do the astro-weather from Teresa Reed's excellent AstroBiz Digest. But because we have a topic that we're teaching tonight, I'm going to keep that portion of the episode really, really short so that we can get to the true meat of the episode, which is the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. So let's talk astro-weather from Teresa Reed. Let me go ahead and pull that up. And keep in mind that the astrology that I'm going to give you is from the AstroBiz Digest, which is a subscription service that you can get yourselves. And it goes straight to your inbox, and it gives you an overview for the year. It gives you an overview for the month and each day of the month. It is geared towards entrepreneurs, but I found it to be very, very helpful in my own personal life. That I believe is $99 for your subscription. I think it's well worth the amount of money that you spend. And in fact, probably should be priced higher for the amount of stuff that you get. Hold on, let me plug in my laptop because I'm seeing that it is low on battery life. And I don't want the episode to cut out in the middle like we had last week. Hopefully that won't happen either with the black screen, right? Zuri says, get it together, Hilary. Gotta love technology, and you're doing great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for rolling with me on it. Okay, so yeah, I can't see those shirts in the Be Love app. It makes me very annoyed. Yeah, so the astro weather, I usually, if I'm not teaching a topic, I will go like really into the nitty gritty of all the astro weather for both today and for the weekend. I am going to just hit the highlights for today and for the weekend, not get so much into the nitty gritty, just give you guys what you need to get you through. Hold on here. Where is my selfie light? Here, let me fix the lighting here for a second. There we go. That's a little bit better, right? Hopefully it won't crap out on me as well. Much better. Oh, didn't have any time to put on any makeup, folks. Just had time to put my contacts in. Okay, so let us talk about the astro weather. Really, really short, or as short as I can get it, so that you can get your astrology and we can move on to the topic under discussion, which is the 5s and the 7s. And I'm hoping that the people that requested this, the 5s and the 7s of the tarot, are in here live. And if you're not here live, you can definitely catch the replay, which should be available at the same links that I sent out. So it's all connected. Fortunately, I was here on time so that my scheduled video didn't crap out and I didn't have to make myself a new one this time around, which is nice. All right, so the astrology from the lovely Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. Keep in mind that all the times that I'm saying is for Eastern Standard Time. So Friday is actually very short and sweet. So today, get ready to tackle big projects when the moon marches into Capricorn at 7:58 a.m. 3 ultra productive days ahead. Friday skies are clear, which means nothing can get in your way except for you. Channel your most energetic work ethic, and you can move through even the most challenging tasks on the old to-do list. Today is a power day for Capricorn and a weekday for the sign of Cancer. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday starts off with communication woes when Mercury opposes Pluto at 6:52 a.m. People are grumpy, power mongers trying to get attention. Boundaries will be crossed if you allow it. Moon and Mars square at 5:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time keeps the funky boundary crossing vibe going. Oh boy. So Teresa's advice is to stay out of the inbox and don't engage with shit disturbers. That is her words, not mine. No one is listening. Instead, keep your nose on the grindstone and watch all of your tasks getting checked off your to-do list. Moon-Jupiter conjunction at 7:57 p.m. could pan out in 2 ways. Either tension continues to escalate or your productivity goes up. That depends on where your focus lies. Dream big when Moon sextiles Neptune at 8:55 p.m. The evening is ideal for conjuring up new visions or going to bed early. Sunday, Sun-Uranus square at 7:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time puts a spotlight on egomaniacs and unstable types. It can also create erratic finances, so this is not your morning for investing in your business or gambling. Unwise speculation at this time could destroy any gains made during this past week. This morning could also bring troubling political situations front and center. So watch the news, but don't be shocked at the shocking. Moon is void at 9:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Use this morning to take care of projects already in motion. Moon entering Aquarius at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The energy shifts to networking, innovation, and upgrading your tech, but it can wait until Monday. Both days are power days for Capricorn and weekdays for Cancer. Actually, all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, power days for Capricorn and weekdays for Cancer. So again, thank you to Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. You can definitely subscribe to the AstroViz Digest at her website, thetarotlady.com. So let me go ahead and clear that out so that I don't have that additional tab. Katie commented, yes, we are. I guess that's rolling with the tech issues. At least I would assume that. Okay, so are you ready for the 5s and the 7s of the tarot? And by the way, keep in mind when I say some of this stuff. Ooh, hold on. There we go. Now we're on it. Keep in mind that everything that I'm saying with this workshop, with anything that I do, is take this with a grain of salt. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine too. Really, I am a big proponent of using what works for you and discarding what does not work for you. And I would love to hear anybody else's thoughts on the 5s and the 7s of the tarot when we go through this material. So I haven't written anything down specific to the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. I'm just going to show you a few techniques that I use for difficult cards in general and talking to you about what I know about the 5s and the 7s of the tarot just from my, 20 years, over 20 years reading tarot. So remember, take what works for you and discard what does not work for you. And I feel like I've been talking a lot and my throat's getting a little bit scratchy, so I'm going to take this opportunity to give myself a little seltzer break. I would recommend you have a hydration break as well. Top chat. Want to make sure I'm in live chat for YouTube. Otherwise, I might be missing some comments on there too, which I do not want. Hello, Lisa. Lisa's here. Love the astro-weather, she says. And Katie says, I am here for the 5s and the 7s. That's why I am here. Okay, great. So let's talk about the 5s and the 7s. So this is the question that I got asked mostly. One person's comments from last week's episode was like, can we talk about the 5s and 7s? Like, what is up with the 5s and the 7s? Like, I hate the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. Can we talk about them? And then she was like, oh, well, I'm kind of kidding about that, but also not kidding about that. I don't want you to take an entire episode. And it's just like, but why not? We can talk about it, right? Oh, whoa. All of my comments are now showing up in Be Live all at the same time. They must be hearing me right now. It's all propagating at the same time. It is so crazy. Yep, can hear you. Hold on. Let me take a time out here so I can show you exactly what I wanted to show you guys before. So here, see, this is the reason why I love Be Live. So thank you, Be Live gods. I don't have to send a help ticket to you guys. And Zuri's saying, gotta love technology. Yeah, I know. Hold on. Let me make sure all destinations are showing. Katie is saying, I'm here for the 5s and 7s. That's why I'm here. Awesome. Great. I don't know if all of your comments are going to show up all at the same time. There might be another slew of comments that come in all at one batch, but when I get them, I get them. Literally, they all just came like flooding into my chat stream on Be Live. So Good to know, right, guys? Maybe it's just I must have invoked the difficulty of the fives into the sevens, and then they decided to reward me. Because, you know, the Seven of Pentacles is actually a pretty decent card. I like the Seven of Pentacles, actually. So maybe just the mere mention of the fives and the sevens might have gotten it. I don't know. And no more. Hold on. Let me just double check that my comment settings are okay on here too. No, I don't want to hide the comments. All right, someone pop something else in the comments to see if I can see it on the Be Live. I don't know. All of them came flooding in all at the same time. So I'm just going to still continue to monitor so no one gets missed, right? We can see your comment, blah, 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 blah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So talking about the fives and the sevens of the tarot. So what I was saying last week's episode, no, don't take the time to do an entire episode on the fives and sevens. And I'm just like, but why the heck not? Like, that's what this weekly series is all about, is bringing you topics that you want to see me cover, or want more information about, or topics that you're having difficulty understanding, specifically in the tarot. Like, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to offer some help. So that was one person's comment, or one person's request. Oh, it says new messages below. Oh, we all hope this comment works for you. Ah, ta-da! I'm still going to keep monitoring. I don't want to miss anything, but thank you for popping that in there. Hooray! That makes me so happy. Okay. So that was one comment about the fives and the sevens. The second comment was more of a question from one of my tarot intuitive students, which is my yearly, about a month-long deep dive into the tarot, my online course. And so I have on Facebook the Tarot Intuitive Reading Exchange, which I monitor very closely, which is a group for people that have gone through my course, but also people that I know are diviners, psychics, intuitives. I also have them in the group. So if people want to meet up and exchange readings for practice, they can, and they can do so in a private environment that's safe. Because sometimes it's very scary to practice your newfound tarot skills with complete strangers. So I'm kind of like vetting those people that are in that group. So if you want to join that group, just let me know, message me privately, and I will add you, or attempt to add you to the group, because I think I have to friend request you on my personal page first to be able to add you to groups, if I'm remembering correctly, or I can send you the link. I will figure it out. Anyway, one of my tarot intuitive students asked me the following question. I'm studying minor arcana suits by number. Fives and sevens both say conflict. How is it different, only that the seven happens to be further along in the journey? Why are the fives and the sevens so difficult for me to understand? That's basically the common thread we've got going on here. So Katie says, yay, as to the comments, yay. So the fives and the sevens of the tarot, and this is part of the reason why I want to show you, like, this is the reason why I use this third-party app. It's Be Live, by the way. If you want more information about Be Live, I can probably share that with you. I used to have a sharing tool, like, literally on here. Let me see. Why can't I find it? There's so many tools in here that sometimes it becomes like very confusing. Like, for example, I can share this, but that would be like if you wanted to come on as a guest. So that's different to sharing the actual referral link for Be Live, if you know what I'm saying. I'll figure that out later. I'll figure it out later. I don't understand why I can't find that anymore. I think it was more for like the anniversary of the software. Anyway, but here's the reason. here's the reason why I like this particular app. Because I can do the stuff like this. I can also call out and shout out the comments, and I can do the following. So, which 5 would you like to cover first? Let me know in the chat, and we will start with that 5. Which 5 of the tarot do you find to be the most difficult out of the 5s? And let's start there. Let's start with the more difficult ones, so that we can get that out of the way, and then continue on to the easier ones. But I'm always a big proponent of getting the more difficult, or the thing that you're dreading, out of the way, so that you don't have to keep on worrying about it. And while I'm waiting for your comments about that, on which 5 you should start with first, I'm going to go ahead and spritz myself with this e.l.f. Active post-workout cool-down mist that my mother got me for a very late birthday present. It smells really nice. It also helps with overheating as well. Like, this is not after a workout. This is just nice to refresh the skin. It's supposed to give you like this dewy glow. I just think it makes me look sweaty when I wasn't sweating. So, I see. Yeah. Okay. So Katie's saying 5 of Swords. Lisa is also saying Swords. So, all right. And Katie's saying Swords are a beast. All right. No one likes the freaking Swords. I mean, I get that. I understand that. Because Swords are I like to say that the suit of Swords is the suit of communication and conflict, or conflict and communication. So we so often focus on the conflict part of the Swords that we often don't think about the communication part of the sword suit. It's the element of air. If you read with that elemental association, I read it as being the element of air, which is normally about communication for me. But some of the swords cards are like, it's hard to wrap your head around how 5 of Swords may be a positive card, or why the 3 of Swords could possibly be a positive card. So the way I was taught to read tarot, and the way I continue to read tarot, is that there are no cards that are outright negative, and there are no cards that are outright positive. There's always a little bit of both in each card. So it is kind of more nuanced in a way. It's not entirely all negative or all positive. So we have to remember that all of that association can be within one card, which makes tarot amazing, and something that I keep on coming back to, and obviously base my professional work on it. But it is something that can be very frustrating about the tarot as well. You can get so much information out of one card, but that is also a problem. You can get so much information out of one card, and then when you start to add to those cards in the form of spreads, that's when things can get really, really overwhelming. So when you feel overwhelmed by a particular card, or you feel like you're not getting that particular card, that is the time when you may want to single out that card and study that card for a day, for 2 days, for a week, for a month even. Some of the cards of the tarot require further introspection, and it might be a personal reason why you are not able to wrap your head around that particular card's meaning. For example, I think I'm losing track of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcasts as to what we've released and what we've recorded but not yet released. But you'll find this out, I think, when we release the Hierophant episode, because there are many, many tarot card readers that have difficulty with the Hierophant card because they come from a background of organized religion that they may have either decided to convert or have completely abandoned their originating religion that they were taught when they were growing up. So because of that background information or that personal connection to what they may think the Hierophant means, that could be a result of the reason why they find it difficult to read. So it may be that the card is just difficult to read in context of the situation, or it may be that you do have to do some work to perhaps reorient yourself or realign yourself with that particular card and what you associate with that particular card. It can be a very personal meanings and personal choice that comes with these cards. So if that makes sense to you guys, go ahead and smash the heart button or comments and let me know if that makes sense to you. It can be just simply your relationship with that card. Good point, Katie. Very good point as well. Hierophant is a 5 card also. So yeah, 5s numerologically can be a very difficult number as well as the 7. So honestly, it didn't surprise me in the slightest that people were asking for this episode. It just didn't. So thank you for pointing that out. Hierophant is the 5th card of the major arcana. So very good points. All right. So let us tackle the 5 of Swords. Because we did say we're starting with swords, right? Right. Okay. So I'm going to remove this pretty thing here, just so we can see the card a little bit better. And I'm going to actually, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. No, that is, well, I mean, we could do that. That's kind of cute. But I kind of didn't want to get in the way of the whole card, but you can basically see the entire card of the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords, to me, just from its depiction in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, is a card of mediation, is a card of failed mediation. I get this. I actually worked with someone, partnered with someone during the Masters of the Tarot weekend at the Omega Institute, led by Mary Greer and Rachel Pollack, talking about different techniques of the tarot. And I ended up pulling the 5 of Swords and then having to use a particular exercise in order to describe the 5 of Swords and to bring, I guess, new meaning to the 5 of Swords. And the things that I was finding in the 5 of Swords, my eye is not drawn to, but in that particular case, I saw the smirk on the face of the person holding the 3 swords. And to me, prior to that, I was thinking about failed mediation, and this person was like brought in to like almost help. But when I saw the smirk on his face, I was just like, is this more of a someone's getting away with something? Is this more about, is this person glad that the mediation went awry? Are they seeming to be, I guess, delighting in somebody else's misfortune? And notice how he has the 3 swords, and the other 2 figures that are walking away don't have any swords. Their swords are on the ground. They're kind of like, I'm done. So using the imagery that's in the 5 of Swords, you can kind of differentiate this particular 5 with another 5 that I'm going to display right now. And this is the reason why I like this. Let me see if I can find it. Where's my other 5 here? So here's the other 5 that I wanted you guys to look at in conjunction with the 5 of Swords. Let's get these out of the way now. I know people weren't saying they wanted the 5 of Wands first, but this is something that I do with my tarot students. Anytime you have any difficult cards, it doesn't necessarily have to be the fives. It doesn't have to necessarily be the sevens. It can be any difficult card, major or minor arcana. But specifically for the minor arcana, taking all of the fives of the minor arcana in that particular deck and looking at all the fives to see, hold on, let me pull this up here because I need my notes for this one. So this is just a tip for understanding difficult cards. Like, use the imagery that's on there, because the imagery is meant to be that language that we use to interpret and then assign meaning as to the context of the reading. So my answer to the original question from my tarot intuitive students, I would say that yes, with the sevens, you are a bit further along in the journey. When we're talking about the minor arcana is numbered for each suit, ace, which would be 1 to 10, 1 to 10. When you have an ace, you're at the beginning of a situation. When you're at 5, you're in the middle of the situation. So sometimes that is a good thing, and sometimes you're halfway in, but you're also halfway out. And then the 10 would be the accumulation or the ending of that situation. This can be done for timing. This can be done for as a way to bring out further meaning in the context of the reading. So keep that in mind when we're talking about both the fives and the sevens. You can lay out all the fives or the sevens of the different decks, or of the same deck. Lay out all the fives, 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, and see how they are different and see how they are the same. And then you can also do this exercise with different tarot decks, whether or not you have multiple tarot decks, or you can even do like a Google image search for different 5 of Swords by different artists. Like you could do the 5 of Swords from the Rider-Waite-Smith, or you could do the 5 of Swords from the Crystal Unicorn Tarot and see what symbology is the same, what symbology is different, and what can you learn from them to differentiate between the meanings of the fives and the sevens. So we'll talk about this a little bit more when we bring up all of the fives on screen, and then also talking about the sevens as well. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. Katie's sharing, if you look at the swords, 2 pointing up, 2 flat, 1 down, I always see that meaning 2 positive, 2 nothing, and 1 down. So it isn't actually all negative, but I can't work out why. That smirk, though, hadn't understood it until you just said it. Exactly. So that is another tip that I give to my tarot students. And it's actually something that a lot of tarot teachers teach, which is looking at the imagery and looking at where your eye is drawn to, especially in the context of that reading or your card of the day pull even. Where is your eye being drawn to? It could be the gray clouds skittering across the 5 of Swords. For the 5 of Wands, it could be that polka dot tunic, which is it doesn't even match the rest of what the figures are wearing. It's kind of like more uniform than anything else. And then you've got this guy with the white tunic and the blue polka dots. So that could bring a different meaning or a different element into the 5 of Wands about maybe marching to the tune of your own drummer when you're in a group politics situation or you're trying to build something. Whenever I see those 5 of Wands, I think that whole phrase of my stick is bigger than your stick. Really, they're supposed to be building something together, but the way their attitude is and the way they're like not even looking at each other. Like, notice when there's figures on a tarot card, who's looking at each other? Are they looking towards a goal, or are they looking in different directions? Because it can tell you something about the situation that you're asking about. Even when you bring more cards into it than just one card, if you happen to have the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands next to each other, just as we're seeing on screen right now, notice that the guy who's smirking, he's looking off on the figures that are walking away, and he has his back to this whole weird political building bridges kind of group politics situation. And maybe he shouldn't have his back to it, or maybe he should. Maybe he's supposed to be the lone wolf in that situation, or maybe he should turn around and see what's going on. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm glad I was able to point out the smirk to you, Katie. And by the way, a really good resource for doing this kind of work would be Teresa Reed's The Tarot Coloring Book, because oftentimes when you're coloring an image, and so this has, of course, my copy of the Tarot Coloring Book is on my bookshelf right now and not to hand, but when you're coloring, you notice things in a tarot card that you may never have noticed before. For example, I didn't notice that in the Magician card, the Magician's belt is not a belt, it's a snake. No idea until I was working with the Tarot Coloring Book. So remember that all of these images that appear on one single tarot card, nothing is there left to chance. Nothing is there for coincidence. They all have meaning, being there and being present on that card. Make sense to everybody? Let me pull this down so that you can see those cards a little bit better. Hopefully my little stars are not so much in the way. But for example, the Five of Wands, I had never noticed that polka dot guy, who I'm gonna rename here, I had never noticed how very different his tunic is to the rest of everybody else's in that Five of Wands. And what could that mean? And if it doesn't mean that to you, what does that mean to you? Make sense to everybody? Just making sure that I'm monitoring the chat. So Katie's saying yes, making sense. I'm also monitoring the YouTube over here. Ooh, I see. This is the reason why I love Be Live, because look how nice it looks. You know, like I can't. It makes me look so polished and professional. I love it. All right. I'm like stunned at the polka dot guy right now. Okay, let us move on. So, dealer's choice or group's choice, Five of Pentacles or Five of Cups? Normally, I would say Five of Cups would be the easier, or the Cups card is usually the easier, but in this case, the Cups card is not. The fives are really rough, or can be really rough. And honestly speaking, I find the Five of Wands to be almost the easiest out of all of them to really understand, out of all of them. So Zuri is saying, I love watching other readers give their interpretations and insights. Always something to learn and add to our readings. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're like, what I say this so often, there's no such thing as competition between tarot readers. Or if there is, that's like not the best way to think about it. There's collaboration, and like we all have different viewpoints on reading the tarot, and it's all valuable, and it can bring so much meaning to our own work. Like there is enough work for everybody, because people that come to me and think that there's a kind and gentle reading, they don't last with me. They will find another reader because I'm not that kind of reader. And that's fine. There's space for so many different types of readers. So Zuri says, I agree 1,000%. Exactly. Like, I mean, we could be warring with each other right now, but what good would that do us? You know, like you are a different reader than I'm a different reader. And it's like, there's nothing being taken when we are in this market, you know, like there's tons of people that need readings and tons of people that need help with the tarot. And it's not going to be a right fit for everyone. So find the reader that works for you. By the way, there is a past episode about finding the reader that works for you. So I think that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know. So many Facebook Lives, so many weekly episodes, right? Okay. So I haven't heard any chiming in about whether we do the 5 of Pentacles or the 5 of Cups. You know what? Let's get the 5 of Cups over with, because honestly, that card ain't so great either. Hold on. Oh, I never pulled up the 5. What? That's my bad. I never put this in my staging area for the images. Let us go with the Cups. All right. I think I need to remove my face from here so you can see all of the cards. So here's audio only right now. Hopefully you guys can still hear me and can still see the images. So it really is a stark contrast, or it can be a stark contrast between, you go from, it's almost as if, and if I'm taking away from, like, I feel like I've been taught this from one of the many tarot teachers that I've known in my life. It feels as if the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Wands are the offense, and the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles are more the defensive, or the more receptive of the 5s. So, like, there is definitely and I know you guys can't see me gesturing because I turned off the camera so you guys can see all of these. But I mean, I feel like there's a very stark difference to, each of these. So let me actually take down, I don't want to do that right now. So really quickly, notice, and this is the reason why I'm saying the tips for understanding difficult cards, laying these numbers, the minor arcana, out altogether, it really brings into stark relief the similarities and the differences. And I think in the differences, that is where you will find the most understanding with why the 5s and why the 7s. And then laying out the 5s and the 7s next to each other. Like, lay out the 5 of Swords and the 7 of Swords and look at the differences between the two of them in order to understand why there's a 5 of Swords and why there's a 7 of Swords. Because again, this is not just decided arbitrarily. All of these cards have meaning to them. If the 5 of Swords was the same as the 7 of the Swords, we wouldn't have 2 different cards. We would only have 1 card if they were the same. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope it does. But here's something that I'm realizing. When you have Swords, Wands, and Cups, I feel like there is the more activity and outward motion going with the Swords and the Wands, versus when you come to the 5 of Cups, it feels very receptive. It feels almost passive. It definitely has a different tone of energy. Zuri is pointing out, I am always fascinated by the different colored liquids spilling from the cups. Yes, that's true. And let me go ahead and hide that comment so that we can see that. And I didn't even notice that either. So that's something that I didn't notice. So like Katie didn't notice the smirk until I pointed it out. I didn't notice the different colors coming out of the liquids. I'm usually so focused on the fact that there's the 3 cups, but the figure is turned away and turned more towards the past, or what we think of as past position when we lay out spreads in the tarot, facing that way. And he's looking more either towards the past or towards those overturned cups, rather than looking toward the future line and the 2 cups that are upright still. So to me, that leads into the meaning that I usually ascribe to the 5 of Cups, which is about playing the what if game, mourning for something, mourning for a loss or a loss of relationship, grief. That's another key word that I assign to the 5 of Cups. But not staying there. That is usually my meaning when I look at the 5 of Cups. And again, this is all general keywords and associations that I see. Obviously, when I am doing a reading for someone, for a client, I may be seeing something very different, or I may be reading that in relation to the context of the reading and what was asked and the cards surrounding the 5 of Cups, in order to find the interpretation that's right and that would be the most helpful for the clients. So, but notice those swords, those wands, very active. And then you come to the cups, which I feel is more receptive and more passive. So let me take down those active cards. I mean, putting these 2 5s together could result in a meaning of feeling loss or grief about a failed mediation, feeling loss or grief about a friendship or a collaboration that went awry between 3 different people. I mean, it could be 5 people, it could be 3 people, depending on the number of swords, depending on the number of figures. And I also wanted to go back to what Katie was saying about the swords. Looking at the swords, 2 pointing up, 2 flat, 1 down. I always see that meaning 2 positive, 2 nothing, 1 down. So it isn't actually all negative, but I can't work out why. I think that is just your personal association with the 5 of Swords. Just because you can't work out why you feel the way you do about that 5 of Swords doesn't make it invalid. So there you go. I mean, I'm the same way about what I just said about the 3 cups being overturned and the 2 cups being upright, right? Very similar way of thinking, but in the context of the 5 of Cups instead of the 5 of Swords. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. And Zuri noticing about the different colored liquids spilling from the cups. There's like a red, but then there's like a greenish, I guess. Let me make sure that I don't have my blue screen blocker on my computer, so I'm not misinterpreting the colors that are actually there. But yeah, it looks like there's like it looks almost like it's a red wine and a white wine, honestly, overturned. So, and Zuri, I would really like to know what that means to you. The fascination with the different colored liquids spilling from the cups does that mean something personally to you? Does that change your interpretation or add to your interpretation of the 5 of Cups? Katie is saying the building in the background of cups, that shows like a rejection from home or society or family or friends. Really, really great point there. There's a reason. There's a reason why all of these images are on that particular card. I mean, it goes into my understanding of, for example, the High Priestess card, especially when I wanted to get the High Priestess card tattooed on me. I asked myself, I asked a bunch of tarot readers, and I asked some of my friends, what is it about the High Priestess card? What images in the High Priestess card make it the High Priestess card to you? You may want to ask that question when you're talking about the minor arcana 5s and 7s. What is it about the 5 of Cups that makes it the 5 of Cups to you? Is it simply the 5 cups? Is it simply the 3 overturned versus the 2 uprights? So let me move this over so I can actually be seen here. And let me take down these because we want to put up the 5 of Pentacles in a second. But like, I hope that makes sense. Like, look here. So there's my tarot card, my high priestess. But it was very important to me to ask not only other people what symbols made the high priestess card to them. I had to ask myself that question: which symbols to me make her the high priestess card that I want tattooed permanently on my body forever and ever and ever? For example, not every tarot card is going to have the pomegranate, for example, for the high priestess tarot card. But I felt the pomegranate to be very strong. So, and it was a personal symbol for me as well. So I included it when I talked to my tattoo artist. The same thing with the triple goddess crown. That was something that was very important to me. The scroll, very important to me. The crescent moon at the base of her throne, basically, very important to me. So you may want to ask those questions, not just about a major arcana card, but also about the minor arcanas. What about the minor arcana card makes it that card? That also leads to greater understanding and personal meanings and interpretation. Like, for example, the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups has a little bridge over that water, little white bridge. Is the figure looking at that white bridge? Possibly that reconnection back into society that Katie was talking about. Yep. Hold on. Let me pull that up. See? Also across a river, like almost another land or country. But notice there's that bridge there. There's that white bridge there. There is an opportunity to reconnect. I mean, the phrase that I'm getting right now for the Five of Cups is, can you ever go home again? Even if it's your same hometown, can you ever go home again? Or will it just be new to you because you're not the same person? You can take that and run with it. If that makes sense to you, if that meaning is something that you just got hit with in the chest, please, by all means, take that and bring that into your understanding of the Five of Cups. Zuri is saying, looking at the magical symbolism of the color meanings, what is spilling out? What was growth in the green is now lost. What is life force energy that was invested into something that has died within the red? That's an excellent way of looking at it. Again, there's nothing on those cards that is not intentionally put there. And even in more modern tarot decks, when tarot deck artists are choosing what they want to be putting on their deck, this is the reason that tarot decks can be very intimidating to create. But when you do so, you have a greater understanding of that particular symbolism and the meanings. This is part of the reason why I say guidebooks that are written by the same person that did the illustration, that created the symbology on that particular deck, that becomes very powerful, because they can tell you exactly the reasoning and why they chose to stick with the traditional symbols or also deviate, and what those deviations from the traditional might mean to them. Excellent examples of this would be the Marielle Tarot, which is a very like Thoth and Rider-Waite-Smith almost all in one. Marielle Tarot by Marie White has an excellent companion book because she did the art as well. The Bone Fire Tarot by Gabby Angus West, I believe. Excellent guidebook. The Line Strider Tarot as well. Really think about how important imagery and symbolism plays in these tarot cards. Like, without it, we got nothing. We got nothing to read. We're reading the stories and the symbols that are on the cards. And that is, in a nutshell, what tarot reading is. And then layering the meanings one on top of another. Our personal associations, what we might have heard, what we might have learned. There's so much. Like, this is the reason why I love tarot, guys. This is the reason why I do this. So, this is becoming like an epic episode. We might want to tackle the sevens perhaps in next week's episode. Let me know if you guys want to continue onto this. It might be just a mega episode, or if you want to break it up, fives this week, sevens next week. I'm down with either. Totally fine with me. But let's move on to complete the fives. So let me hide this. Like this is by popular vote. If you guys want to keep going, we can keep going. If you don't want to keep going, we can definitely do the sevens next week, same time, same bat channel. So let's look at the Five of Pentacles. Now, to me, it may seem a little bit crazy, but these two cards, because they seem to be more passive, they are sometimes harder for me to read, and harder for me to convey to my client as well. It's a very difficult reading when I see either of these cards come up. For the Five of Cups, it's for a different reason than for the Five of Pentacles. I feel like it's almost easier for me to read the Five of Pentacles than to read the Five of Cups, or at least give the message between the two of them. So let me see if I can hide myself again so we can compare these two and also talk more in depth about the Five of Pentacles. All right, cool. Yes, good. Okay, so I kind of want the Five of Pentacles to be the other way. Let me see if I can hide both. There we go. So the Five of Pentacles to me is about financial hardships, maybe sometimes financial loss, feeling like you're a beggar out in the snow, feeling like you can't get the help that you need, but also knowing that the Pentacles, the Five Pentacles that are in the Five of Pentacles, look at where they're situated. That is stained glass, and to me that indicates a church. That to me that indicates that these beggars out in the snow, destitute, feeling forlorn, feeling, like feelings of unworth or unworthiness and just needing to get help. That indicates to me they're outside of a church, and the help might be closer than they think. Or they're not even looking. Like, look at the figures again and where the figures are pointing or where the figures are looking. They're not even looking up at the church, especially in the more traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. They have their backs toward that stained glass window. And the stained glass window isn't going to be that bright with the gold and the pentacles unless there's light there, unless there's people actually inside the church. So to me, when I see the Five of Pentacles, I usually say, first of all, it's sometimes more in your head, your financial woes, rather than what's actually going on. And also, things are closer than you think. Help is closer than you think. So I'm going to look to the chat and see. We've got Katie said, Pentacles seems like one guy is walking slowly and the second guy is running. Yes, there's definitely one person in front of the other person. That looks like a particular spiritual symbol. I can't recall which one, though. Maybe a Jewish one. Yes, you're correct. I believe it has almost a look of the Kabbalistic tree of life. But I can't be sure about that because I've never been really great at the Kabbalistic view of reading tarot cards. And actually, going back to what I was talking about the Five of Swords and that smirk, and looking at the clouds and being partnered with someone to do that exercise with the Five of Swords, I said all these things, and the person was laughing at me and said back to me, because I had mentioned how not good with the Kabbalistic stuff I was, he was just like, do you realize that you're giving the Kabbalistic meaning without even realizing that you're giving the Kabbalistic meaning of the Five of Swords? So we both laughed about that. Again, this imagery is in here for a reason, and they take into account a lot of different iconography even. Some of it you may notice at a glance what it means, and some of it you know that it holds meaning, but you don't know what that meaning is, and it might require further research. So, good point, Katie. Anybody else have any thoughts about the Five of Pentacles, especially Five of Pentacles in relation to the Five of Cups? Yeah, Katie's saying Kabbalistic. I think it has to do with angels, but I don't know more. Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not gonna speak about it because I simply don't teach tarot in that way. It is definitely not my forte. And when I've tried, I know a little bit about it without trying, but I'm just like, when that happened, I was just like, I'll take your word for it, because I really didn't know. Let's see. So notice how these fives, putting them all and looking at them all together, and I'm going to go ahead and put the other ones up here as well. So we're gonna go back to a square kind of view here to see all five of them all together. Zuri makes an excellent point here. Notice that they aren't in darkness. They are lit under the light of the church windows. So charity is available. Yeah, that's my interpretation too. Katie is saying, so in both cases, it's like they are rejections. They are rejecting help from other places. Yes, exactly. Both the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. There is a possibility of connection or reconnection, but whether or not those figures are going to be taking that up, that's up to them. And so we can then translate that into, where does the client fit in all of that? Is the client one of these figures? Or is the client not speaking about their own financial situations, but talking about somebody else that might be asking for their help? Again, context is very, very important when we talk about tarot cards. Running away or looking away from help from others. Yeah, exactly. Any other thoughts about the fives? Considering we're coming up on over an hour, people are saying either way, the fives and the sevens. So I'm going to say we'll do the sevens next week. How about that? Because I think we might have bit off more than we can chew talking about both sets. Where that means that we're talking about 8 separate cards of the tarot all in one session. So let's talk about the sevens next week, if you guys don't mind. But I've definitely given you tips and tricks, and I will assign homework to take these insights that you're getting about the fives from just looking at them together, and go ahead and apply that to the sevens on your own time. And we'll gather back together and talk about the sevens next week, right? And even connection with pentacles too. They aren't looking at each other. Yeah, exactly. The figures themselves aren't looking at each other. So like, notice that the whole, it's almost, I'm getting that phrase of misery loves company. When I see the Five of Pentacles, like, they're two people, two heads are better than one. They might be able to brainstorm their way out of the situation, but instead they're miserable together. Anybody else have that thought when they're looking at the Five of Pentacles? Katie says, whereas with swords, he's so confident in himself that he doesn't realize his rejection of assistance. That's true. That's true. Awesome. Well, guys, I think we did a really wonderful deep dive into the fives, and we talked a little bit about the sevens, but let's give a preview for next week, shall we? So let me pull up. Hold, please. What'll really bake your noodle. Let's go ahead and do this. So let me hide this one. And I'm going to hide this one. And I'm going to hide this one. And let's go ahead and show this one. And let's go ahead and take this down. So this is a preview of what we might be getting into next week. Not only talking about the sevens together, which is going to be your homework before we reconvene next week to talk about this. Comparing the two of them. Comparing the 5 of the swords and the 7 of the swords. Clearly, they're two different cards, right? The smugness might be a common factor in the two figures here. Notice that the star of the show is the smug character or the sneaky character or the person that's trying to get away with something. That is common for both the 5s and the 7s. And could it be that this figure from the 5, smug guy, could become the sneaky thief in the 7? Where do you think that guy is? Or, here's another thing that'll bake your noodle. Look very carefully in the distance of the 7 of swords. And look at the shadow figures off in the distance toward the bottom left. Could we say that those shadow figures are the same figures that are on the 5 of swords? Because I'm looking, I'm counting, and I see one dude standing up, and I see a long sword or wand, possibly, and then I'm seeing 2 other figures. Could it be that the 5 of swords, or the figures from the 5 of swords, are present in the 7 of swords, but just at a distance? Maybe they're on the other side of the campground. Any thoughts? While I take a little water break. Because remember, we still got the weekend forecast to do. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. Any thoughts there, or did I completely bake your noodles? Let me know. Because I'm baking my own noodle right now, because I didn't notice. See, so much of this stuff is about noticing, is about paying attention, is about realizing that none of these symbols are coincidence. They're all intentionally there. So I'm not gonna put you on blast right now if you don't want to answer if I baked your noodle or not. We will just simply move on to the weekend forecast. Oh, but first. Oh, so Katie's responding. Certainly could be. And also they are separate from where this main guy is stealing away from him, so he could be joining them. That's an excellent point too. That's a good point. Okay. I think we've done enough work with the 5s. So, does anyone have any questions about the 5s of the tarot, and any preview questions for the 7s of the tarot, or any questions about techniques for reading difficult cards? Doesn't have to be just for the 5s and the 7s. You can use that technique with any tarot card that you're having difficulty with. So definitely let me know. I'm seeing definitely baked noodle in the chat. I'm not going to put you on blast by shouting that out, but good. I'm glad I baked your noodle, but I've given you some food for thoughts as well. And I'm trying to look around to see which deck I can use for the weekend forecast while I'm waiting for any questions to come in about this particular topic, the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. We will be, if you're tuning in just now, we will be talking about the 7s next week. Sorry, bit off more than I can chew. While I'm waiting for questions, I've got to show you guys something really, really, really cool. So now that I know that the YouTube stuff is working, I have to show you guys this. It's really, really cool. So I subscribe to the Smithsonian Museum's email list specifically for something that they did a few years ago, which was about the art of video games. Because I'm a gamer, kind of old school gamer, trying to get back into gaming as well. And they had this wonderful exhibit about the art of video games as a medium for artistic expression. And so I am on their email list for that. They just came out with a arcade. I'm going to have to pull up a different tab to be able to talk about this. But it's basically, oh shoot, where is it? Art, research, education, about. But it's going to be, it's basically a virtual experience, and having the Smithsonian Museum arcade activities online. So it is this weekend, it is tomorrow, and it is Sunday. And it's about exploring how video games act as a medium for expanding the way Americans tell and experience stories. Enjoy exclusive limited time access to play games featured in our indie developer showcase, and sign up for special screenings of feature-length documentaries, Indie Game the Movie, and Not for Resale. And I believe the topic for this particular year, the showcase for the Indie Developer Showcase, is about game changers in honor of the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, granting women suffrage. So it is exploring the role of women in affecting major change in society, political sphere, and the gaming industry. Now, the reason why I bring this up on a tarot broadcast is because one of the Indie Developer games is called Ava. And it is a tarot card game that features puzzles hidden within a picture which must be solved. There's an emphasis on aesthetics, story, and music, while the game mechanics are kept simple. This game's fairy tale narratives explores issues of gender, discrimination, prejudice, and mental health. Ava shows that games can be poetic, nonviolent, and tell a wholesome, touching story that promotes empathy and understanding. So this game is available for download, I believe, for free in the iOS and Android App Store, and I have started playing it, and it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to share the link with you guys for the SAAM arcade. There's quite a few games showcase, such as When Rivers Were Trails, Starsmith, Half, The Girl with the Gray Hair Awakens, and also Ava. So that's at the bottom of the list on the link that I'm going to share right now, but it is so, so gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and share that. Don't go anywhere. Don't miss out on the weekend forecast. So wonderful. That's great. So Katie is saying, I am seeing more in them now after the session. Thank you. And I think I'm going to do more private study of these cards. Yes. Awesome. Wonderful. So that's the point and purpose. So I shared this link to the American, it's all URL-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and show that here. And you can also see my, that's from YouTube, by the way. I miss that hair. I'm going to get back to it. Notice my purpley pink hair. I have to go back to that or do something else, something fun, because life's too short for boring hair. But that is the link to the SAAM arcade, in which they have a tarot card puzzle game. And it is so beautiful, guys. It is so, so gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of the live chats on YouTube, but y'all, I'm still broadcasting to there. But I have to show you this. Just the image alone. So that's the load. This is the load screen. And I'm going to take down this because we're done. We're done with this. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I'm so obsessed. I really am so obsessed. Gorgeous. And then, so this is one of the puzzles. Like the puzzle comes together and then it, like you move around the different symbols and then you create that card. And it's like kind of like you're given a word riddle, and it is in a story fairy tale context, and then you flip over the card in the app and you solve the puzzle, and then you move on to the next card. So isn't that gorgeous? So beautiful, so very beautiful. So I had to share that with you guys because I'm just like, oh my God, it's a tarot card puzzle game. Okay. Drop everything, buy this. And I believe it is free too, because I didn't pay anything for it. So check that out. A woman developer and also tarot related, had to drop everything and tell you guys about that. So it looks like we have no other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the weekend forecast. I was looking to see if perhaps I could find another of my decks, but you know what? We're going to go with the Work Your Light Oracle cards. So again, this is an Oracle deck. This is not a tarot card deck. It's an Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell and artwork by Danielle Noel. Danielle Noel is the artist behind the Star Child Tarot and the Moon Child Tarot. So this is her artwork. And if you like that artwork, her artwork is very similar looking and is in those tarot decks. So you may want to pick that up. No pressure or anything. And the box is so beautiful too. Wonderful reminder to all of us that we are all the Oracle. So if you're a first-time viewer, this is your weekend forecast. This is the only time that I do a free reading in each episode. It is a reading for the collective for this weekend. So this is something to take with you into the weekend. What we most need to know as we're entering the weekend. What do we most need to know? I'm actually not going to pull from the top. I'm going to fan and pull. Now, for most Oracle decks, you can't just read the card just straight out. You usually have to go to the companion book because an Oracle deck is structured differently than a tarot deck, and it follows its own structure. So, given that, I am going to look up the companion book's words on this particular card, and then I will hold it up, and then I will give my own interpretation or spin on it, of course. So we have an activation card. Okay. So the card that is coming up for us for this weekend is transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So I'll keep holding up the card as I'm reading from the companion book. Things are changing at a cellular level. You are not who you were a year ago or who you will soon be. You are in between, emerging, half risen, half falling. Keep doing the work. You are transforming. You will look back at this time with awe. So much is happening in your inner world and within your cells. It is time to release old ways of being that have kept you in fight, flight, or freeze mode. To choose a new way of being where trauma is not the driving force. I feel like this is very prescient considering we are still within a pandemic. Old childhood patterns are rising up to be healed. As you allow yourself to observe them and feel them without attachment, they loosen their grip and fall away. You are being called to find new ways to self-soothe. Saturn and the Black Madonna and the African goddess Oshun influence this card. Saturn represents destruction and transformation. The Black Madonna represents the underground and all that has been cast aside. And Oshun represents the tender love of the original mother. A rethreading is happening, healing at the deepest of levels. While you are in this phase, don't put yourself under pressure to perform or be productive. That's from my own interpretation. You may need to review your relationship with your body, perhaps even shifting your diet or exercise regime, or getting energetic healing support. You may also need to consider some kind of emotional support, as issues from your childhood may come up to be healed. You are deeply loved. So if that's resonating with you, go ahead and react, as it were. And this includes an activation. So when you want to look at the replay, you can go ahead and talk along with me as I say this activation. You can say it out loud to yourself too and envision this card. Hold the card to your heart, or, look at the card as you're saying these words. I allow myself to receive the deepest healing and transformation for change to happen at a cellular level. There you go. That is the transformation card from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. That is our weekend forecast. I did chime in a little bit about my own interpretations of that card. But I think we're all kind of, and it's a beautiful card too. It's gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. But I think we're all experiencing that. And if you haven't been experiencing that, I think you haven't been paying attention. Like, things are like, we are living in the new normal. And normal's probably not the right word for it, but, I think it is. Nothing was ever normal, shall we say. So we need this time to heal, to transform, to try new ways that help us, rather than trying old ways that didn't work or never worked for us to begin with. So this is a much bigger card, maybe extending past the weekend, that you just need to be reminded that things are changing and things are transforming, and you're probably in the right place at the right time to hear this message. So, that was a very long episode. I don't make promises as to how short or how long episodes are anymore, because it is what it will be. We covered the fives tonight. Next week, we are covering the sevens to finish up this topic. So I would like to remind people that I do this every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, streaming both here to the Facebook page and also to my YouTube channel. Thankfully, we saw that the comments are actually working now, and so I don't have to scan around to different places in order to find all the different comments, even though unfortunately, I'm seeing one of Katie's comments about looks fun from 6 minutes ago that did not pop up in the comments section in here. But you know what? It's fine. I will still continue to do my own thing and make sure that I'm seeing all of your comments. So next week, we are going to be covering the sevens of the tarot. I've already given you some tips about the fives that you can then bring into your self-study of the sevens if you so choose. So go ahead, you've got a week, and we will return to finishing off this topic that at that time, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do this every single week. Let me see. I thank you all for watching live or watching the replay. Remember, this information, these messages for you, even if it was previously recorded 6 months ago and it's hitting you now and it's resonating for you, that is as it should be. So I thank you for watching whenever you're watching. And I would ask you to please share this video with whoever you think would benefit from it. If you know one of your friends is studying the tarot as well, and you think that this episode would help them, please go ahead and let them know that. Sprinkle some love, some video love. Yeah, and I think that is it for tonight. Let me go ahead and share once again my URL where you can book me for readings and reintroduce myself. If you're tuning in at the end of the episode, you can go back and watch the replay. It's still there. It'll be there for you. My name is Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Readings are available through Skype, through Skype, phone, and email. No in-person sessions right now. Keep safe. Keep sane. Keep on doing your tarot thing. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate. Take breaths. You're doing so great. I know you are. It's a difficult time for everyone. And the fact that you're alive and breathing and you happen to be watching this video,